Hi, everybody. I am trusting you're having a blessed day. I wanted to let you know about some books this evening in my life. So tell a friend, tap a friend, and let them know that we are here. And I am so beyond thrilled, to be with you today and to uh, be able to share. So I trust that you'll enjoy this as well. And as we continue to move through these books, that you'll find something that you like. And when you do, I trust you will order them. So yes, I will have the QR code popping up. Hey Bruce, how you doing? I'm glad you're ready. How you doing? Hey, hey. Um, so if you are just checking in, I know it's summertime. A lot of our children recently graduated from all kinds of levels. Today, I am dedicating this show to my little people, but I will have a book that I'm going to also share that's for my adults because sometimes we need something for ourselves. So if that's you, I got you. You're in the right room, you're in the right space. One of the things I do want to let everybody know is Father's Day is coming up. So with Father's Day coming up, I will have a book that I want to share with you for that. So it is a lot that honestly we're going to be talking about today. Also, if you have anything you may want to say, put it in the comments. I would love to dialogue with you. If you see me shifting, it's because I'm looking to make sure I'm not missing anybody. As they're posting, I will be sharing your comments. So the book that I wanted to definitely share is one that's been flying off the shelves, and that is one of my recent books called Yuck or Yum. Now, I wrote this book because a lot of people who pick up my children's books, some of them wanted easy reader books. And so I said, you know what? I do need to write our easy reader book. So this is a level one book. Level one, if you are curious what that even means, level one means that it's really good for beginner readers, readers that have never started reading, but want to start and ultimately wants to start reading for themselves, by themselves. And sometimes in the beginning, of course, you get the help of your mom or someone you love and care about, and they'll help you read this book. So this book is specially catered towards colors. So I wanted to help young people, and I mean like two, three, four, not necessarily four, but I would say three and under to kind of learn their colors and do it in a fun way. So in this book, it talks about that. Now this is page 5 in the book. I can back it up a bit just so you can see some of these pages. The very first one, more or less, is a dedication page. Nothing too unique per se about that. But we talk about food ultimately, and this is how we're also going to explore the colors in this book. Um, on the next page, as you can see, the words are fairly simple. No two are the same. Same is a somewhat of a bigger word, but for sight words, this is a sight word that children in preschool, kindergarten would need to know. So this is a great book for a child that is on their way to kindergarten and they want to make sure that they master some things from pre-K or pre-K 3. um, Different things. I know the word different is not necessarily a young child's word, but this is also how I challenge young readers too, because you'll be surprised at what they'll be able to do if you introduce it to them early. So my 6 year old can actually read this book himself without any help. And I would love to see more children get to that level if they're not. If your children are struggling in this area, with reading or they're a new reader, I encourage this book wholeheartedly. It is funny. So I'm going to skip ahead a bit to get to some of uh, the other pages in the book. As you can tell, like even not even trying, I'm already giggling. I find that a lot of adults like this book. So if you want a good book to read to your children that is not boring or not funny or fun or interactive. You don't have to worry about that with this book. I'm going to go ahead and throw the QR code up also. So if you wanted to get the details on how to order this book, it's right there. One of the things that I love about this book and all my books, really, especially for my children's area, is that you are able to get the digital copy, which is essentially going to be like ebooks, or you can get the physical book, which is going to be signed by me, and then I mail it out to you. So one of the things I love is the ability to make these books affordable to anyone, and accessible on any platform. What is something that we are also, or I'm also working on getting done, is audiobooks. So for those that might be visually impaired or don't necessarily read but want it to be read to them, you'll have access to that real soon. But if you want to get the digital copy, it's $7. And if you want to get a signed copy, it's 15.99. If you buy it on Amazon and all the other stores around the world, which includes some 39, 44,000 outlets, you will find that this book is priced, I think, is 16.99. So it would be up to you if you may want to do it from Amazon or somewhere like that, but it won't be signed. So if you want a signed copy and you want to laugh and you want to giggle, this is a really good book. Again, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. This book is all about teaching colors to pre-K 3, pre-K 4, and it's a level one reading book. So that means that they're not reading yet or they're new to reading, it's a book you can read with them, and then ultimately they'll learn to read on their own, which is exciting for parents. I know right now finding good books that are not dry is a challenge, and I wanted to eliminate that challenge with this book. So this is one of the pages. This is actually page 9 in the book. And this is basically saying how some of the foods and fruit that we're introducing will make you say yum, or some will make you say yuck, which is how we got to, or how I got to name the book and design the cover. And so let's step you through this a little bit more. So this one says, "Some will make you say yum." So the previous one was yuck. This is yum. And this is kind of what you're going to get with the book. It does feature real children from every background. It does show you things that will make you say yum and things that will make you say yuck, or who is really doing that. The short answer is everything in this book is actually real food to some people, some countries. And I would even say my grandfather, credit to him, helped me figure out some unique foods for like the color gray and all kinds of stuff because I had no idea. Matter of fact, that's the page I probably should show you because it would probably make you go. And that's what children love. They love the uniqueness, the surprises that come with this book. And so, if you're looking for a book that will really just kind of surprise you a bit, I think this book will be one that you will actually love. The children will love. And again, it's $7 if you want the digital copy, and it is 15.99 if you want a signed copy by myself. And I would definitely love, love, love to sign it for you. I enjoy signing this book because people love it so much. I get a lot of positive reviews. This book actually sells out in my live events. So if you're looking for a book that you can get and share with your grandchildren that are like two, well, I would say 4 and under, this is the perfect book, especially if they're new to reading, because it's not intimidating. It is funny. It isn't that long. And the words are fairly simple. Again, like I was telling you, this book caters towards colors. So it just reminds children of their colors in a fun way. So it shows you the images like you see here. The colors, of course, is orange. And our objective is to show them things that they can eat. So, of course, we have sweet potatoes featured, we have pumpkin, carrots, and peaches. So, it allows you, of course, to just make sure they're learning their fruits and vegetables, all that good stuff. And so, that's one of the things I like about the book. And then, of course, after that, the question becomes, did you yuck or did you yum? Not everybody's going to like everything. So, this book is really good for kindergarten and preschool teachers that are looking for a book to kind of engage students and make them go yum or yuck with you. I find that you can do other interactive games with the book. Which is something that I will be giving away free for those that order the book, especially through my website. You're going to get bonuses whenever new material comes out associated with the book, absolutely free, because I want you to be able to use this book and find ways to incorporate it into your world. And what better way to do that than to give you the means of doing that? So, if you're looking for some extra material to kind of inject into your world in your classrooms for your grandchildren or for your own child, or those you know with little people, this is a really, really good book. Okay. Again, it goes over the colors. So, the next color in the list is purple. So we're looking at purple cabbage, purple grapes, purple plums, or is that figs? That's actually fig. And then on the right, it's plums. So yeah, so it allows you to go through the colors, go through fruits and vegetables ultimately, and then ask the question, did you yuck or yum? Now on this one was a yum photo. So it does bounce between yuck and yum photos all the way through the book. We go through some of the offbeat colors like gray. We cover all the main colors: orange, purple, blue, green, red.
white, yellow. So if you want to make sure they know their basic eight, that's in here. And then we threw in some other ones like pink, gray, black, of course, and stuff like that that you will want them to know also. Now, another book that I want to make sure I switch up the pace on and introduce to you, that I absolutely love. It's one of my newest books, and it already sold this weekend, and it sold at an event that one of my attendees was at for me because I was at another event. So I've been doing a lot of events lately, guys, because I want to make sure that I'm giving everyone a chance to really lock into these books and see what they're all about. This next book is one too close to my heart. It's actually based on a true story. So I have a 6-year-old son, and my son is actually a published author. So he has about 5 books with me. And this is his 5th book that just came out technically this week. It'll be physically in my hand by next week, or ideally by Saturday, as long as the printer, UPS, I don't know, y'all need to work for me. But as long as that's going well, it will be in then. So I'm excited about that. The Let me show you the QR code also for this one. So with this book, as you're going to see with all my books, the digital copies are $7, and the physical signed copies from my website are $15.99. And in this book, it's about how he essentially invites me to a mother and son dance at his school. And what I love about this book here is it is a level 2 reading book. So it is really good for a child to read the book themselves. It is a fun read. It's not complicated. It is very simple, but it is also going to challenge them with the words. As you can see with the graphics are pretty photoreal. It is meant to look like myself and my son. So I pray, let me know what y'all think about the graphics in this book, by the way. I would be very curious. Also, too, if you are essentially a author, I will share some information with you as well on how we can help you to, well, my publishing company can help you to publish your book. So you can either put it in the comments, send me a DM. I will also put up a QR code for my publisher just in case you want to check that out. So the QR code to the top left is where you can essentially get the help you may need with creating your book. I have another one. Let me see if I can get that one for you. Hold on one second. Uh, uh, Let me see one second. So there's another website too that you can use if you want to learn how to essentially write and publish your book yourself. And so I want to share that one with you. Let me see. Wait, where is it? Uh, okay, I got it. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. So I'm adding the one that I should have already had on here. I apologize. So if you are wanting to publish or learn to publish your own book, a process that I also recommend is based on a book that I've also written called Way Process. Well, Write Anything Easily. I nicknamed it Way just because it's shorter. It makes sense than to say Write Anything Easily all the time. But WAE stands for Write Anything Easily. And it's my process to help you to write, edit, publish, and format and distribute your book to some 44,000 outlets, including Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whole lot of stores you never heard of. Many you have across the world. So if you are interested in learning how to do what I'm showing you today with my book, then I want to encourage you to use this QR code that's up now, and you can go ahead and get my process. It is a book that comes with this, and it is also a consultation with myself or my team that will help you to essentially utilize this guide to write, edit, or publish your own book. So if you are interested in that, I want to be sure that I threw that up for you so you can have it. I'll also put it in the comments if you check out the live when it's over, and you'll be able to access it as well. So what we were talking about now is because I'm a gentleman. So with this book here, again, it was based on my older son asking me to a dance. So this is him essentially coming home from school. One of the things that I love about the graphics is how realistic we were able to get him, or my publisher was. And I love, the way that the text is. I love how long the book is without being too long or difficult for a young person to read, whether get bored or something. I actually had my son also read it just to see, how much it either made him smile, laugh, or keep reading or want to give up on the book. The short answer is he read the whole thing. He actually read it more than once to multiple people. So he's really excited about the book, and I believe your child will be just as excited. It's a perfect book for, I would say, children between the ages of 3 and about maybe 8, or somewhere in there, especially if they're a fairly new reader. It'll be really good. If they want a book that would challenge them but not be overwhelming, it's also a really good level 2 book. So this book is a step above level 1. As you can see, the sentence structure is a bit different than if you had a easier read. I am going to show you a level 1 book after this one. And you can see the difference in the essentially the conversation between the characters. But as you can see, I do not sacrifice graphics. I don't know if you've ever seen a children's book that's like meant for new readers or level twos. A lot of those books kind of have like old school graphics and stuff like that. But I wanted to create books that will essentially create interest in the characters, look more modern, and also have a more modern and developed story. So if you want a book that does that, this is the book that will do that. Okay. This one is about a realistic situation that actually can easily fit into a person's life, especially a mother who has a son that's, in first grade, second grade, pre-K 4 or pre-K 3. So that's what this book is dedicated to, pre-K 3 up to about second grade. And one of the good things too is, of course, we know the benefits of reading, but your child wants to read something that's also engaging. And so I didn't want to make reading difficult. So, one of the things about this book too is the excitement in the characters. So, as you continue to go through the book, you will see how the character does or the story does develop. One of the things that I love is how he really did become a gentleman, and he is a gentleman in real life. Like he'll tell me, "Oh, mom, I'll go do that for you because I'm a gentleman." And I'm just like, and that's what made me think of the book, honestly, is because of the stuff that he was doing. And I was like, wow, this child is really serious. He really is into this gentleman code. And with him being so pro gentleman, it just made sense to name the book because I'm a gentleman. Also, I wanted to let me get that off. Also, in this book as well is going to essentially transition from in the house to his school bus and even to his school. So if you have a book that have multiple themes and stuff like that, Kaylee Publishing or Kaylee Services can definitely help you to finish your book and create the graphics. I did not have graphics when I first started this, so I definitely needed help to get my graphics done, and I am very, very happy with the results because I didn't think I was going to get a book that looks like us, but how much it does is like really impressive. So if you want a book that kind of gives you a cinematic cartoon effect, but with a more realistic appeal, this is a style that they can offer or they do offer to help you to create your stories as well. Okay. Um, Again, as the story progresses, he is a 1,000% excited. I'm going to skip you ahead in the book. There's a whole lot more, that, of course, that happens in the book. But for the sake of your time and seeing as many books today as I can get in, I wanted to skip it ahead. Now, again, in case you're new to the live, if you want to get the digital copy, it's $7. It will download to your phone or any digital device, and it will open up as an ebook. So with the ebook, it will function just like a book. It'll just play on a phone or a tablet. So if you want to do that, you can definitely do that. And to get the book is only $7. If you want to get a physical book, like me, I love tangible things. I think especially for children, you want to have a book that essentially is in your hand. These books do come signed. They're $15.99. And you can scan the QR code or click the link in the comments, and you can essentially go ahead and grab that book. Another thing too is if you cannot essentially what I'm trying to say, scan the QR code, I do want to put it in the chat. So my website is authorklee.com. So it's just the way it sounds, authorklee.com. You can go there, you can order this book and a whole lot more books that I am not going to have time to feature them all. I have 43 books published as of today. So it's exciting. I'm really excited. And one of my newest books we will talk about here shortly, which is The Old Man Sam and His Cat. So that is a level one book that I think is going to bless a lot of people, to give them something really fun to read that actually reads like a real story for new beginner readers, instead of like Sam and you remember those old books like John and Sam, and everything was like really Jill and Bill. Like it was really like very basic with the names and everything. So I wanted to do something that really upgraded that. So again, so in this, they are now at the gym for the party. And as you can see, like this section here is what makes it a level two, because it's like a paragraph essentially that the child would read. There's a couple of pages that are set up like this just so that they're not reading a lot of short sentences, but they're getting used to seeing paragraphs, because that's what they'll get with chapter books. So if you want to kind of like step your child up, or your grandchild, or a child in general, this is one of the ways you can do that without it being overwhelming. And it'll still create the adventure that they would want to keep reading. So this is a part of the book where essentially he grabbed a drink from me at the dance. And then this is where, of course, he has his own drink and he's in his own world. He's happy go lucky. And then he asks me to dance with him. I don't know if you've ever been to a mother son dance or a father daughter dance, but you're going to find that it is one of the most cute and rewarding things to see one of your little children or a child that you bring ask you to dance and do all of these things. It is so much fun. And I have actually a real picture of us at this dance in the beginning of the book. I'll show that shortly. But and so in here I said, yes, my kind gentleman, I would love to. And it's just a way of showing, our sons how to or encouraging them to be a gentleman, a gentleman first with their own mom, and then they can apply that to other situations later in life, as far as just respecting women and young girls. So this is actually him and I at the real dance. So this is how I told you he was excited this whole time. He was on like 1,000. So yeah. So if you want a cute book that is definitely an easy read for, I would say a level one, level two reader, and is also engaging and fun, and has really good pictures and quality, I would definitely encourage this book. And this book is 36 pages. Is it 34? Let me see on a second. Yeah, so this one is 34 pages. And at the end, of course, he lies on his bed with his suit on, smiling, thinking about his day. It is really cute because have you ever seen like little people with suits on? My son wore a suit to the event as well. And just seeing him in a suit and so dressed up, he really did look like a little gentleman. So I encourage you to have those experiences with your children if you can, or, grandchildren, because it will be something that they will not forget. Now, I did mention one of my newest books, which is called The Old Man Sam. And this is The Old Man Sam. So, The Old Man Sam and His Cat is the name of this book. And as you probably can remember from when you used to be way young or teaching your children, grandchildren, their first early sight words, a lot of their sight words were short and they were typically three-letter words. It was very tricky to write this book and not use, a more developed vocabulary like I'm used to. But the good part is it challenged me in a positive way to think like a little person and to encourage them with fun stories. Nothing is worse than a boring cat, rat, stat, bat book. So I wanted to create one that is in our era, exciting and fun for children to be able to read either on their own or with someone to begin with. Okay. So this is the inside of the book. When you open the book, ultimately, this is the first page. Um, and when you open the book, all of my books have like a really good introductory first page. So it kind of sets the tone. You will see the copyright information to the left. If you're thinking about publishing your own book, my publisher is Crystal Enterprises or KLE Publishing. And essentially, with this company, they took care of everything for me. So, setting the graphics, setting the pages, making it look professional, all this stuff they do, which is very, very helpful to me and for me. So if that's something that you need, I will throw up their QR code again up to the left, and you can check out Crystal Lee Enterprises. And it's essentially spelled the way it sounds. I'll put it in the chat also, so you'll have it. Let me see. I think somebody. Thank you. I appreciate that. So for Crystal Lee Enterprises, is that's what it is. You can go there and they have a slew of services that really help authors, do what they essentially want to do, need to do with starting their books, finishing their books, and even taking it all the way to developing it to a business and getting their like content creation done. So all of those things essentially can be done with this same company. So they'll take you from start to finish, won't just drop you in the middle of nowhere and say, good luck with your book, like some companies have done to authors, which I don't like. And because I don't like that, and I'm an author myself, I wanted to create a book that kind of helps safeguards people from getting taken advantage of. So if you want to get into this, but you're really not sure, then I recommend starting with my way process, which is the write anything easily process. And with this process, I'll do a consultation with you. So I'll talk you through the process. The book that essentially is my process is all of my notes essentially are in there. So you don't have to even take notes in the call, because it's all going to come to the printed published guide that'll come to you. It's in full color, it is hardback, and it is definitely worth the read, and it doesn't take you forever to read it. I don't like writing stuff that sounds like a textbook, so it definitely doesn't. And this book again is in full color. It has QR codes in it. It shows you how to essentially plot your book out, meaning how to do a really good outline. Because before you really write a good book, you need to plan a good book. There are free resources in here as well that will help you to get through your book. So if that is something you're interested in doing, I cannot recommend this book, this process enough. Okay. So that's there. I'm going to drop it in the comments as well. And so if you want to learn more about that, you can have it. And now I'm going to take you through the book a little bit more. Okay. So, again, this book is called The Old Man Sam and His Cat. Okay. So, if you are new to the live, thank you for coming. We are talking about a level 1 book called The Old Man Sam and His Cat. And this is perfect for new readers or readers who have not started reading, or maybe they're in a challenging spot and they just need some encouragement to know that they can read. This is a really good book, especially for first graders, kindergartners, pre-K 4, pre-K 3, especially even is good for, because it's dealing with the early sight words, words like no, yeah, yes, the simple ones that any child would want to learn fairly early. They're in the book. So I'm going to tell you how many words are in the book here shortly, because it is exciting that I got so many words in the book, and I did it in a way where I don't think it's overwhelming. Okay, so this book was dedicated to my younger son Nathan, and it's because he's now learning his sight words. He is going into kindergarten, and so I wanted to find a good modern book for him. And a lot of the books I have, they kind of look dated, to be honest. So I was like, oh Lord, I think we could do better than that. So these are the graphics that I have in my book. So I want you to compare it to some of the books that you may have read as a child, or some of the ones you've been finding lately. And I think you're going to find the graphics in this book very compelling, very interesting, very even exciting, because it looks more like a cartoon that they would see on television, which makes the children more apt to want to read it because it doesn't look like an old story. Old stories can be good stories, but they may not be as engaging. And so the ultimate goal is to excite children to want to read. And so that's why in this book I am catering to more modern graphics, but I'm telling to me, a very well-rounded story. I think sometimes we read these easy reader books, but they don't really make sense. It's like, Jan fat, Jan fat, Dan fat, no rat, no cat. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Yes, those are early sight words, but it's absolutely brainless kind of content. So I wanted to make sure that I'm also giving your children something they can read, and it makes sense, and it actually develops their abilities to want to read and be good readers, and cognitive thinkers. That's the word I'm looking for. So this is the first page in the book. I don't want to not mention this. So if you want to get this book, the digital copy is $7. If you want to get a physical signed copy, you can order it with this QR code, which will take you to my website. My books are $15.99 on my site, but they do come signed. If you buy them on Amazon and other places, you can, but they're not going to come signed. They're probably going to be $16.99 or higher. So you save some money, and they come personalized by myself. So I encourage you to buy them from my site. So it comes with all the bonuses. Plus, if I add any additional content, anyone who order from my site, you'll get those added bonuses absolutely free. This way, you'll be able to kind of keep up with the way that I'm developing books and stories and continue to use them for longer periods. I know sometimes people are like, I don't want to spend that much on a book because they're going to grow out of it. The good part about these books is you can start them in these books and then they'll grow into them. And then ultimately they can start reading them to other children or other people. And this will also increase their ability and desire to want to read, write, and even learn. We do publish books for children. So if you are looking to publish a book that your child wrote, Kaylee Publishing can help you do that. Their QR code is up to the left corner, Kaylee Services, and they can help you to do that service amongst other ones. Okay. It's in the comments on Facebook, and I'll drop those comments here shortly on YouTube, just in case you're wanting to get those links and you may not be able to do the QR codes. So, Author Kaylee is the website for my books. So, I am dropping that in there for you now. Way process is the process I mentioned on how to write and publish your book. If you just want to learn, like, broad stroke, what am I getting into before you maybe find a publisher or go with one? This book doesn't mean you have to, uh, let me see, hold on a second. Can you, hold on, somebody asked me a question. Can you drop the link to this book? Yes, I can. Okay, so let me drop you the link for the Old Man Sam in the book. Hold on one second. I'm going to switch my wait, I can do this way. See. Let me do it. Yeah, I can definitely do that. So let me drop that QR code. So someone asked in the comments if I can drop the link to the Old Man Sam and his cat. So I'm going to drop that in the chat real quick, and you'll see that pop up. It looks like she's on LinkedIn. So I am going to share this one, and I'm going to also show it. But if you go to authorkaylee.com, it is on the main page. So I'm going to show this just so you can see it. So this is the website, authorklee.com. If you go there, you'll see all the books that I'm showing today, and all of them are up to the top of the website because they're fairly new books, especially this one. This one just completed or got approved and everything with the printer today. So you'll start seeing it on Amazon probably as early as this weekend. So if you're ordering it now, you're one of the first people to get copies of it. And I will be getting them in next week, and I'll be signing them and mailing them out. So if you want to go ahead and order your copies, that's how you'll be able to do it. I know on LinkedIn, your comment was from LinkedIn. It doesn't allow me to do a direct link, but I would share that link after the live so that you'll have access to it as well. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you will have access to the direct link to this book. If you are on LinkedIn, then I will definitely put it in the in your comments after the live, so you'll be able to check in with this book. So a little bit more about this book. Again, this is a level 1 book for early readers. This book here is going to definitely help you to teach your children the first few. Honestly, let me be honest. There are 70 sight words in this book. I know it sounds crazy. You might say, Crystal, how in the world did you get 70 sight words in this book and it not be overwhelming? I think that's the real benefit of this book, is that it's not overwhelming. So I'm going to show you just the sight word list real quick for this book so you can see that. And then I'm going to step back through some of the pages here for you too. Where are we? So this book is 32 pages. So yes, so this is the sight word list. So if you're wondering, okay, well, how many words will my child learn by reading this book? This is the list, or the vocabulary list, that is in this book. So if your child doesn't know these words, or they do, they're going to love reading this book because it will reinforce their ability to read. It will remind them that they are accomplishing something. It will give them a bit of a challenge because I do have words like glad, chat, clothes, which are 4-letter words. There are a few 5-letter words like floor, likes with an S. So we are teaching them the difference between like and life. And many of these words are, again, early reader sight words, but it's also just really good refreshers for children that are readers to have a book that they can read and feel accomplished as they're reading it because none of the words are overwhelming. So, again, this is how we're introducing some of these words, like, then there was a rat. So, I'm going to back this book up maybe 2 pages just to kind of give you a bit of a scope. So, this is the cat. His name is Dan. The old man says, "Hi, Dan." The two sat to chat. Now, as you can see, this is a simple sentence for a level one reader or a kindergartner. So it's not a complex sentence at all. But what I love about it, it's still making sense and it's building to a real story that's going somewhere. I know a lot of these books, they're not going anywhere. They're just giving you the words they expect your child to learn, but they're not really making them cognitive thinkers in my opinion. So this is going to address that issue that a lot of I had, honestly. So then there was a rat. The old man saw the rat, which again is introducing the new word saw, but did cat see the rat? Now, again, this is introducing a punctuation that typically is not in a level one book, a comma. But I think this should be seen earlier, especially if you want a book to make some kind of sense. Um, so, yes, but did Cat see the rat? Sam said bye to the rat and he scat. Now, scat is, of course, a word that we probably don't use a whole lot, but it is definitely a word that I had to pull in order to make this book, string together some real thought to be able to help young readers. The cat was not shy. All of these are three-letter words, which I thought was very clever. The rat had to go bye bye. I know a lot of the movies that the children are watching, the characters are saying bye bye, like in the Mufasa movie they had a song called Bye Bye, which I thought was clever to be able to kind of wrap some of those things that they may be seeing in movies and in songs and put it in a book that they can read on their own. Dan saw the cat and got to rat. They sat. Now, as you can see, this is feeding into some of the old school books that have these simple sentences. But again, this is making more sense. And it's also giving them a longer sentence without making it too long or overwhelming for them to remember what they were talking about, right? The cat was bad news to the rat. He ate rats. So now this is taking them even on a journey. What I love about this book is that there is excitement in it. There are pictures where, of course, the cat and the rat are talking. Hold on, let me back it up one because I did skip one. So the cat got close. The rat said, "Oh no, he had to move on his toes." The old man sat and sat. He saw the cat by the rat. So, as you can see, the book is still building to a concept without getting too heavy, but it is challenging them with some of the sentence structures, but not to a point where none of these words they haven't already read on previous pages. So it's really just reiterating the words they've already learned and just helping them to find their rhythm in reading. I noticed that sometimes when children are reading, they may not find their rhythm. So this book helps them to find a rhythm in reading. And so I want to throw the QR code up real quick for this book. So if you want to get this book, it is $7 for the digital copy, which will allow you to digitally download this book. If you want to get a physical copy, be one of the first to get a signed copy by me straight off the printer. It's $15.99 to order that book. It will come to your door. It will come signed by yours truly. And I would definitely love to help step you and maybe your children or grandchildren and children through this book. I am going to be doing videos that coincide with this book that I will be sharing with those that order the books from my website for the children's collections. So I cannot emphasize enough to, grab this book. Now, I do want to go over a few other books real quickly. I know time is weighing, but I want to just introduce these books so you'll know of them. One book that I want to show you is called Ugly Swan. Now, Ugly Swan is a book that I wrote because of my oldest daughter. She was kind of in school going through some issues with developing friends. And in having that, I wanted to, the father gave me a message for her, essentially a ministerial one. And it was such a powerful message that touched her and even touched me. I was like, man, that's a good book. And I wanted to make it a children's book because she's a child, or at least my child. And I wanted to encourage other mothers, fathers, and teachers, grandparents, etc., that has children that may be getting bullied. They may be, maybe they have a disability, or they are autistic, or some of these things that make them not feel as beautiful or welcomed or things in that nature as other children. And so I wrote this book called Ugly Swan. And the concept behind it is, have you ever really seen an ugly swan? I mean, the truth is, none of us have really seen an ugly swan. They might have had rough feathers, or maybe they were gray and or black even, but not too often when you really see a ugly swan. And I would say that that's true, too, with people. There are going to be people that will assume something is beautiful because that's what they consider is their standard. And in another part of the world, something else is beautiful. And so I want to show you and your children that the way that the Father made them is not something that they should loathe, but something they should celebrate. And in this book, as you may or may not know, all swans are born gray. So as you can see, these ones are gray. In real life, they're gray. Even the white swans start off gray, although they, of course, get more white as they grow older. This swan did not. So when this swan ultimately did not go white, it felt like something was wrong because it didn't look like everybody else. So ultimately, this is the start of the book. There was this swan that was born dark gray. He didn't look like the others. He felt at all. I even have black feet. Nothing about him looked like his parents or siblings. He would cry out to his parents, "This isn't fair." So if you have children that feel like maybe the way they look, maybe their hair or teeth, or just different things isn't like someone else or everybody else, this is a really good book for helping them to deal and process their emotions with that. I wanted to give a book that will challenge them to think about their feelings and how they feel about where they may be, or maybe what they look like, or what other people are saying about what they look like. And so this book is really good for children, especially young children that are being bullied. This book is a level 2 book. So it is designed for children, I would say, probably up to maybe even as high as 5th grade. Contextually, it could go honestly to anybody. I think it is a really good read, and I would encourage anyone to read this book because of the information. I'm actually thinking about turning this book concept into an adult book concept as well, because I just love the concept so much. And I believe it will really help people that are struggling with some of these areas to find themselves. So, this swan was essentially born amongst white swans. And as they started to grow more and more white, as they developed, he started to grow darker gray. And ultimately, he changed to his final color, and his color didn't look anything like anyone else. But before he did his full transformation, he really started to get down on himself and take out his frustration on everybody else. Sometimes our children cannot communicate their feelings well. So instead of them saying, "Hey, I'm being bullied," or "I don't like this," or "I feel uncomfortable," they may lash out instead. And that's what this one was doing, right? So this one would say, they would all try to encourage him not to think about his differences so much. He was a swan like them, and they loved him. "Brother, what is wrong now?" He would reply, "I don't look like you guys." A sibling replied, "So what? You don't have pink feet or white feathers, but you have more black. You have more black like one of our parents, because one of their parents had black feet. Some children, of course, will be tall like their mom or granddaddy, and etc. So that's what the risk, or that's where that came into in this particular part of the story. And then, of course, another swan that was like a sibling said, "You're still a baby. Some of us are judging our forever looks based on a temporary circumstance. You're not going to be a child forever. And the way you look today is going to change, it's going to mature, it's going to develop. So don't be so quick to call yourselves ugly, or some of the things that we can easily say that is unfair to the person we will become." And as you may know, one of the things that the swan struggled with the most was a internal problem. It wasn't the external look of the swan that was making him ugly. It was his person. It was his attitude. And so when we have a bad attitude, even as children, other people can see it, right? So this is what ultimately happens when we are negative and, kind of like taking our frustration or pain out on other people because we don't know how to maybe process it or deal with it ourselves. And I'm speaking from a child perspective too. You may find that people will move away from you. Like friends at school may say, "Well, I don't really want to hang out with you anymore," or things like that. So what do you do when you're being isolated? And so in the story, there is a really cute turtle that is filled with wisdom that come and talks to the swan. Ultimately, the swan is on the pond, and the swan also gets a wealth of knowledge from, I would say, from God or Yah or a God-like source that questions, his opinions of himself. And so he walks him through why he was born the way he was born and why he was still perfectly made. And I think another book too that shares a similar concept to this one. But before I transition real quick, I'm gonna be on for probably another 10 minutes. I want to make sure you have access to this book. So this book is called Ugly Swan. This book is on authorklee.com as well. So this is the QR code if you want to scan this one to go directly to the book. You can. And essentially, in this book, we're dealing with the concept of you're born the way you were intended to be. The Father has a plan to expand the world's opinions of Him by seeing diversity in His children. So don't be so, upset with yourself or even God because you may feel like He made a mistake with you because you may not like the way you look or how you feel and things of that nature. In due season, you will see His perfect plan for your life, even as a child. And so I encourage you to share this book with those that might be dealing with bullying or personal development, personal, self love, stuff like that. As a child, especially, this book will definitely help. I know a lot of children that have been buying this book have been children in wheelchairs, children dealing with autism, children dealing with bullying in school. And this is a level one, level two book. So in this book, mostly a level two, but in this book, essentially, it'll be really good for them to read or for it to be read to them if the level is too high, for them as a reader. Now, a book that I absolutely love that I got to talk about because it is one of my favorite children's books. It's called Dancing Moon. So, Dancing Moon is a book that teaches the 8 phases of the moon, but it also shares how the Father is even in the presence of the moon and its assignment. So, everything on earth has an assignment. You have an assignment, your mom, your parents, grandparents, teachers, everybody on earth has a role, even the moon, the stars, everything. And so in this book, it explores the assignment of the moon and how the moon can be even cross paralleled to human nature or our life cycle. So just like there's 8 phases of the moon, which starts in the black to the left, which is the first phase of the moon. It's kind of ironic that when we are being formed in our mother's bellies, we are in darkness too, meaning there we are in the wombs, and in the womb it is dark. Unless you put a flashlight or something on the stomach, but essentially that's how it works. So this is the very first page in this book, and I love that it starts off with a biblical scripture that brings context to the moon and the moon's purpose. So the children, when they read this book, this is a level 2 book, which basically means a person that this is going to be ideal for a child that can read, probably a level like maybe first grader to second, even third. This book, as you can see, is going to be relevant to any age group, especially with children. It's really good to read to them because they'll get understanding of science and how God is connected or Yah connected in those things. So the first thing that they lock into is the book of Enoch, chapter 82 and verse 8, because I do teach um, in this book scripture period across the apocrypha as well as the King James or the traditional canonical that everybody reads. And this verse says, Lord of the whole creation of the world hath subjected the host of heaven, and he has power over night and day in the heaven to cause the light to give light to men, sun, moon, and stars. So this is essentially the purpose of the moon. Like some people or some children will say, why the moon? I actually wrote this book because it was inspired by my oldest son, who asked me what was going on with the moon one day because it was shifting colors. Hey, how you doing, Power Gift? Nice, thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm sharing today, just children's books that I feel will be great books for the summer, and just great reads for parents, grandparents, children to share. So if you do see a book on here that you like, you can click the links in the comments, or you can feel free to click or scan the QR codes on the screen to take you directly to those books as well. And this book here is called Dancing Moon. I'm gonna throw up the QR code just in case someone needs that. So this book is $7 if you want the digital copy. A digital copy or an ebook would essentially play on any device, whether it's a phone, tablet, or a computer. It'll open up and it'll be clickable, kind of like a I would say an interactive book that is digitally accessible. So great asset for those that may want an inexpensive way of getting the book, not have clutter in their house. I know that's why a lot of people like ebooks. So you can definitely do that. If you want physical books, which is my thing, the physical book is $15.99. It does come signed by me. So if you want a signed copy, you can order it from my website. You can also get it from Amazon and wherever books are sold. But the book is a little bit more. And of course, it won't come signed. And you also will get access to my freebies that I will be throwing out soon for different children's books. Only those who order from my site will get those. Okay. So yeah, so go ahead and scan that QR code if you want to get this book or if you like it, or please share it. Share it with those who you know have children to your pages. Let them know, how this book can benefit them, or I'm sure they'll watch the video and see it too. So here is page 2 of Dancing Moon. So this is essentially when a new moon starts. I can't be seen, but I am here. Before I was awakened, you were thinking about me. I am the full moon, tucked in between the sun and earth. My shadow is all the earth sees, but Yah can see me in the dark. So what I love about this book is it has a level of poetry to it. So there's poetry in this, there is scripture in this book, there is science in this book. So I was able to weave three things that I love into a book that celebrates the moon, but also celebrates its connection to Yah, God the Father, and also its connections to humanity, which is also what I love. As you go through this book, you will see how it is talking about even our life cycle. So here's another Bible verse that's featured in the book, and this is coming from 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 41. It says, each creation of God has a unique measure of glory, including the moon, the sun, and the stars. So even the moon, has a level of glory. It has something unique about it, just like all of us. The Bible, talks about how we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and all of us having a job and an assignment just like the moon. So here's the job's assignment. Okay, our assignment in life, of course, is to find our purpose and live on purpose and all that good stuff. And so the job of the moon is you have given me a job to give light on earth, to rule over day and night, and to divide the light from darkness. And this is coming straight from our Bibles, y'all. This is Genesis chapter 1, verses 17 through 18. So every time you look at the moon, I want you to say, wow, look at the moon doing its job. And even when you don't see the moon, ironically, it's still doing its job. So what I love about this, because towards the end of the book, it will parallel how even when our ancestors pass on, even when they're asleep or in darkness because they're not walking the earth with us anymore, when they pass on, they die, they leave their legacy behind. And that legacy is still working even in the darkness. So just like the moon, when you can't see it, the moon doesn't go away. It's still there. It's just, it's in a phase or a cycle where you won't see it until it basically comes back around again. And that's true for like when we are looking at like the second coming of Christ, when we are going to, of course, be caught into the clouds and raised from the dead and all these good things. Essentially, it's paralleling a lot of high level concepts, but in a very simple process. So if you get this book as an adult, you are going to love this book even so, because I wrote it with so many layers. I'm so blessed that the Father gave this book to me, because every time I read it, it still ministers to me. So I know that this is one of the books He really just poured through me. And I just pray I'm a living vessel that can really pour into your family too. So the moon symbolizes God's protective care over His people. And this came from Psalms 121 and 6. So when you see a moon, it's the Father's symbolism of His protection over you and how He cares over the people of earth. So what is the function of the moon? This is like going back to the science of it all. So I am close to Earth, and I help keep the climate in balance. In the right position, I keep Earth's axial tilt constant with my gravitational pull. I am not super large, but I prevent objects from hitting Earth and fling them back with my gravitational powers. I was made wonderful. Regardless of what is believed about my magnetic field today, I was created with a purpose. Over time, things change. I love this too about like the waxing crescent. As I rise from my slumber, waxing, growing more luminous each day, what was not seen in the dark is now present for all to see, no matter how small. I have heard your voice summon me to rise from my sleep. Phase two is complete. Now, as you can see, there is I know back in when I was in college, so my degree is in English, and my English professor used to say this word, iambic pentameter, all the time, for like how Shakespeare and when you read poetry, how it has this rhythm. And so when you read this book, it also has a rhythm. And so I encourage you to read these books out loud and even, help your children read this book, especially if they are not able to read it on their own, because it will give them a feel for reading that honestly will make them excited to read this book. As you can see, there's a moon on every page. Throughout this book, there's no two moons alike. And ultimately, I love the very end of this book as well. And I'll share that with you before I go because I want it to be off by 10. I know y'all have stuff to do and I want to be mindful of your time. So, this right here is the phases of the moon. Those who serve the Lord will be raised again and they will never die. They will simply shift through the phases of life like me, the moon. Remember to dance while you can. Know that the end is not the end, but only the beginning of the new phase. Because when the moon goes from left, where it's dark, all the way around, it comes back around again. So the moon goes through these 8 phases, and then the cycle starts all over again until essentially the father tells the moon his job is done. So as long as the moon has an assignment, that's what it'll do. And that's essentially like to me, it was symbolic for how we too will have a phase where we're in darkness, where we start getting older, where we become more mature, where we become a teenager, ultimately a young adult. Then we may have families become a more mature adult. Then we become essentially a parent of adult children, ideally, then a grandparent, and maybe even a great grandparent. And then when we pass, we go back into darkness. And then our phase start over again because the Father says he's going to what? Resurrect us. And so when we are resurrected, that's when we are essentially going to be able to fully complete our cycle again and again. So this is one of the last chapter or Bible verses in the book. And it comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 1 through 4. And it says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. And this is why I use the word dancing moon for the cover, is because I love this verse or these verses essentially. And so dancing made sense. And then when my son asked me why the moon was pink one day, I told him it was because, the moon was flicking lights on and off and having a party. And he just thought he got a huge kick out of it. It was like, for real, mom? I said, no, son, don't repeat that to nobody because it's completely false. But that made me want to create a book, entitled Dancing Moon 2, just to bring the lightheartedness to life, but to bring also some of the things that we want to learn, like science, God, and how all these things are interacting. So if any of these books have touched your heart, please feel free to go to my website, which is authorkaylee.com, and you can order that book. Thank you so much, Miss Crystal. I got to share this comment, y'all. I know it's getting later, so I got to read Miss Crystal's comment. You are so inspirational. I've been trying to figure out how to move forward with my book. I feel like it was meant to stumble upon this live tonight. I would love to connect. I would love to connect with you. I want to share another thing too, just in case you're on here and you may not have caught some of the links that I shared through the QR codes. I want to just pop them up on the screen. And Crystal, thank you so much for being on here tonight. And all of you who have been on, those that have been on this whole time, and those that are popping through, thank you so much for being here. Feel free to connect with me after the live. If you don't follow me, I pray you do. After this, I'm author K Lee on everything. So, but this is the website. So crystalleeenterprises.com is the website you can go to for services. So if you're looking to publish your book, I recommend this company. It's the company that I use for essentially going through the steps to publish your book start a business, and even create your content to really like push your book on platforms and get going as an author or a small business owner. Essentially, their services work for both of those categories. We do um, see a lot of people working that are authors, entrepreneurs, service based companies, ministries. People like that really do take advantage of all the departments that they offer. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. Now, one thing that I do that I wanted to make sure I shared is Way Process. So that's WAE process.com. This website will essentially help anyone that is in the phase of writing their book or getting it published in distribution to learn how to do it. So, this is the book that essentially tells the steps for anybody to write, edit, and publish any kind of book. Okay. So it talks about your why statement. It breaks down how much money you can make publishing your book typically and on average, and how most people sell about 500 books lifetime. And these are people that are probably doing something to get there. Okay. So if you are wondering, well, how much money can I really make for a book anyway? Or where can this, take me? What can I expect? How much money should I invest maybe in paying a publisher? This is why I created this book, because all of those are really good questions. And I feel like they should be answered. And so this book answers those questions before you invest thousands of dollars with any company. I recommend doing this offer, which is $156. With this, you're going to get a consultation that's $156. Okay. Now, what you're getting for free essentially is this book. And this book is the notes. So, on this call or on the consultation, you don't got to worry about taking no notes because it's all going to be in here. And it's going to tell you how to get through each of the modules, how to use this book, and how to keep going forward if you choose to do it yourself. And the good part is, if you come through Way Process, then you will get reduced service costs if you want to publish your book with Kaylee Publishing, because we do have a partnership with them and we can cut your prices down if you want to learn the process or if you want to find a more budget friendly way of essentially publishing your book. I do recommend this. If you want to get your book done and you don't want to take no time, you don't really care to learn the process that much, you may want to know what you're getting into, which we give these books out to Kaylee Publishing clients too. So they come with your services as well as a gift. Okay. So you'll get it either way. That's the good part. But if you say, Crystal, I'm just looking to get my book done. It's already done. It's already written. All I need you to do, format, distribute, publish it. Then I recommend, doing crystalleeenterprises.com too, because they will get it done fast. Typically within 30 days, your book is done. And if you need ghostwriting and stuff like that, both ways you can get it done. Okay. So if you go through crystalleeenterprises.com, you'll be able to get expensive services. But for some people, they may not need a website built, a store, and some of the other things that come with their service level. So if you're like, okay, Crystal, I want to get my book done, I want it to be professional, but I'm okay with maybe doing a payment plan or taking a bit more time, learning the process myself. If that's the case, Way Process is the way to go because it will reduce your costs. It will allow you to do payment plans, whereas Kaylee Publishing only does two payments. So you can do a 50% deposit and then another payment and then you're done, which is why they move so fast because they can schedule all your services at once. Whereas Way Process is scheduled as you make your payment. So you can take up to a year or do 12 payments and get whatever, service level you want. So it allows us to be able to teach you as you go through it. So if you're looking to publish a children's book, I want to show you a few just to kind of go over what we did in the live today. So you'll see what kind of books we can do. On this live, I'm only showing you children's books, but I have 43 published books. All of them were published by Kaylee. And what I want to do, actually, I'm going to show you my website. So I'm going to share, this screen with you real quick so that you'll be able to see what my website looks like and what's on there. So this is my website for authorkaylee.com. On this website, essentially, hold on, let me make sure you can. Yeah, I believe you can see it. So yeah, so on this, you will be able to see like the newest book, which is Because I'm a Gentleman off to the left. The June book club book is A Fathering Spirit, which is to the right. This is a little way that people can stay connected with me if you would like. These are some of my pre-order books that are out now. These pre-ordered books will be coming out in the coming months. So these are in production. So if you want to get them early, you can save money on these books because they're not out yet, but they are definitely coming. So some of these are novels, self-help, spiritual books, youth fiction. This is youth fiction. This is The Old Man Sam. This book should be in the office next week, but until it comes in officially, it's in this category, but it is completed. This is basically like showing you the different. Let me make sure you can see this. Hold on, let me make me smaller. That might be why you can't see it. I'm like, wait, you can't see me or see the site. Let me make this smaller. 1 second. There you go. Okay, now you can see. All right. So yeah, so this is the website. I know you didn't see the top. So this is the top of the website. This website was built by Crystal Lee Enterprises or KLE Services, which they can do if you go through crystalleeenterprises.com to book your service. It comes with a website with your service level, whereas Way Process it does not. So yeah, so it'll come with this. These are my books on pre-order. This book is completed, but it'll be in the store as of next week. So if you order it today or soon, you'll get the first copy. These are the categories on my website that will help you to kind of go through and see what all is here. I do have a way. I know a lot of people say, like, oh my goodness, Crystal, you have so many books. I want them all. How can I get them all and not, you know what I'm saying, spend a fortune? And this is how you can do it. You can click sign up, and every month we will mail you out a book in the collection up to 50 books. Of course, I plan on going past 50 books, but right now that's the number because that's how many I'm planning on doing. So if you want to join the pledge, you can do that. I believe it starts at like maybe 30 bucks a month and you'll get a new book every month. The good part is Way Process is in the pledge. So if you're in the pledge, one of the months you're going to pay $30 and get a $75 book. So it's definitely worth being in the pledge if you were like, well, I don't know. This I definitely recommend doing. This book here is $35 by itself. So some of the books in my store is worth more than the monthly pledge, but it's part of the pledge. So I encourage you to do that if you want to get books from every category, or if you just want adult books or children's books only, just put that in the notes or send us a quick email after your order, and we'll make sure you only get the books you want in your category. So these are books that are self no sorry, these are spiritual books or inspirational books. This is the 21-day devotional and journal. It does come with text messages that come with this. So this is what I consider an experience book. So it's not just reading a book and done. It's actually me engaging with you through the text messages, through the videos, through the book, through the prompts, through the journaling. So it's a lot more to it than that. These are my other books. These all deal. This right here is a three-book series. All of them are in stock. I actually have them on my desk behind me because I was doing some videos for that earlier today. So I do a lot of. I help a lot of pastors, a lot of people that are wanting to tell their life stories. I do help a lot of people to create those type of books. So if that's something you're interested in, Way Process is a good process. Crystal Lee Enterprises, great company. I'm gonna show you their website after here just so you can check that out. These are the books that were inspired by boys. So if you wanted to find books by category, like boys or girls, this will help. No, none of these books are exclusive. So although that they were inspired by boys, they're not just for boys. So I don't want you to feel that way. Like this is a book on Black history. I don't like the word Black history because Black is not really a real term. It's a color, but it's not your culture. It's not your essence. It really robs people of humanity in a sense by saying the word Black instead of your ancestral locations and stuff. So I would rather be called African American, of course, than Black. But this book is challenging those concepts of calling people Black, white, or anything, because there are no white people either. So that's talked about in this book too. So if you're looking for a good book on just like history and social studies, this is a really good book to teach the part of social studies that's not being taught in schools. This will catch you up, and so will The Weight of the Elephant. This one deals with colorism and racism and how you can explain it to children when they are either being bullied by, because of the color of their skin, or even, I mean, I know sometimes we might say, well, my children go to an all Black school. It's still present in all Black schools or all color, however you may want to word that. In African American schools, it's still present. So this book helps to have those conversations with your children, like we all have to, unfortunately. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it also should be held even in other cultures to where they understand why it is a problem to say certain things to certain people. So it helps us to become more sensitive to other people, cultures and stuff. So these are books inspired by girls. This one is inspired for people with breast cancer survivors, stuff like that. I wrote this out of inspiration and dedication to my aunt Monica, who inspired this book. So she was a woman technically that inspired it, but she's in the girl category, I guess. And then this is a blog of just content in case you are interested in some of that. And then these are my growth, like spiritual growth books. These books right here are like thunder books. So if you're going through spiritual warfare right now, like jealousy, envy, betrayal, stuff like that, this book here is phenomenal. Like this book, it will sell out at most of the events I go to. It is an experience book, so it is $35 if you want the physical copy. But the digital copy is only $15, same as the other. But the rest of the books are $10 or $7 for digital copies. But these books all will definitely grow you spiritually. This is a book of poetry that is amazing. Anybody who has read this book, like the first poem, they buy the book. So I encourage you definitely to check out this book if you love poetry. It's worth the $10 or $20 if you want the physical copy. So definitely grab that. These are novels, and I have at least like five more coming out. But right now, these are the four that are completed, and I'm in the process of writing at least four more that are on my schedule right now. So you can check those ones out. And then these are the guides. So if you were curious about launching a business and the stuff you need to do to launch your business right, and ignite your purpose, you want to buy this book. Whether you get the digital copy or the physical copy, it will take you through. I have that book too, but is it narrative? Yes, it is. Okay, hold on one second, y'all. I can show it. Um, so with this book, it is this one. This book is a hardback book also, just like this one. It is in full color as well. There are QR codes in this book too. So if you need to like get help for real, meaning you probably went through a workshop and stuff like that, and you left that workshop still with nothing done, this will stop you from doing that. If you want to basically be a part of this and get the consultation, which is 156, and you get the book free. But when you leave that consultation, you'll know what you're doing. Then I highly recommend doing this because this right here will help to make your life easier and allow you to finish, something that you started. I want to make sure that I have this book on here for you because I want to share that QR code with y'all on this chat just so you do have it. And I'll throw that code up here shortly. So you'll have it. Okay, so this is the QR code if you do need help with launching your business. I'm gonna put the direct website for this in the chat because I know some of you may not be able to scan the QR code or click on it. And so I'm gonna put that up here. So it is KLEturnkey.com if you want to be able to essentially connect with that book and that service option where we'll do the consultation and then help you get a game plan for your business. Then that is the option that you want to go forward with. Again, that website is KLEturnkey.com if you want to be able to do that. I'm gonna throw the QR code up again just in case you can scan it or click it in the comments, and that will also be able to help make more sense. Lastly, that is like the last section. I do events every month. So I just did my first of the month, Embrace Your Crown. It's on first Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you do want to check out this, it was a powerful time. If you're on my YouTube and you do subscribe, it will give you the alerts whenever I go live. I do go live to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, on my page as well as my profile. So if you're following me, then you'll definitely get alerted when I go live because I do it live every first Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So I encourage you to come back or to go to one of my pages, check out the live from this past Sunday because it was phenomenal. It was really, really good. If you do want to get involved with that series, it's literally embraceyourcrown.com. And it's all about how essentially, as we go through life, we have to embrace where we are, who we are, where we're going, because ultimately, you know, we don't always what's the right, let me see if I got a QR code. I do. Okay, so let me give you the QR code for Embrace Your Crown. So if you want to get the a bundle, or you want to get involved, learn more about Embrace Your Crown, the first Sunday event is free to come to. It's online. But if you want essentially to get like the follow-ups and stay connected for what we're going to be giving, or what I give during the week, to kind of keep you focused on what the theme is for the month, to kind of carry you through your business, through your spiritual growth, through life growth in that month. I know sometimes we might say, well, Lord, I want to change, but we're focusing on these big transformations. I want to challenge you to do something every month to transform. And as you do that, by the time you get through a year with Embrace Your Crown, you're going to look totally different. You're going to see the transition, the growth, and the progress. And so, a lot of people who want to get access to this program do buy the books. If you subscribe, when you subscribe, you can subscribe for $26 a month, or you can subscribe for $127 a month. The difference between these two subscriptions is basically, when you subscribe at $26 a month, every month will mail you a book. So we have three books. So I recommend subscribing for at least 3 months. And then if you stay subscribed past that, then we'll start giving you access to the coaching series that go with those books, so that you can match the book to the mentoring program that I offer for Embrace Your Crown. If you are doing something new, like starting a new business, starting a new career, wanting to get married, wanting to go to the gym, stuff where you're doing something outside of your element, I want to show you the benefit of having a coach or person that will really just keep you in remembrance of what you're wanting to do. So it's an accountability thing. It's a you're not alone thing, because sometimes we get discouraged when we realize nobody's really paying attention, so who would care anyway? I'm doing all this hard work, but why? So if you feel like that, I want to encourage you to check out the mentoring program. In the mentoring program, it is a 6-month program. You do something once a week, nothing crazy, nothing that you wouldn't be able to do with a job, a family, a life, right? We all got those. So yeah, so it allows you to step through the program, and essentially, I believe it's the 127 for each of the months, and it will take you through each of the books every 2 months. So every 2 months, you will complete a book. Is essentially how that program works. So when you subscribe, that's kind of what you are going to be getting access to. Or if you want to go straight into the mentoring program, it will give you access to those books as you're stepping through it. So I encourage you to check it out for free, even if you don't buy the books or anything like that, because these Sunday messages have really worked to change people's lives, especially those that are doing something new, like starting a business, writing a book, or something like that. It'll help you not give up. I have, um, I'm a consultant, I'm a coach, I'm a minister, I'm a lot of things outside of an author. I'm a business owner, so I do a lot of stuff, publisher and stuff. But ultimately, one of the things I absolutely love is when I connect with people that are doing something great, they're doing their purpose, all that good stuff. And when they think that they're going to quit, and they call me, and I'm like, don't quit. I know it looks crazy. I know it's uncomfortable, because that's the way it is. Unfortunately, when we start something new, it is hard. And this is why a lot of businesses fail in the first 2 to 5 years. It's because it's hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would be doing it. It's hard, which is why a lot of people don't do it, or unfortunately, a lot of them don't make it. And so I want to show you ultimately how to start your business right. And if your business is authoring, then I want to make sure you have the tools to be able to write your book yourself, if that's the plan, and save money. Or if you know this is what you want to do, and you're like, hey, look, I set aside a few $1,000s to do this, or I set aside a couple $100s to do this. I can find you a plan that makes sense for you. And so that's why I created essentially these plans, is so I can help it make sense and make it make sense in your life. So before I let you go, I just want to remind you real quick, if you want to learn the process, or you just want to know what you're getting into with writing and publishing your book, I encourage you to utilize that QR code, or to go to waeprocess.com. So that's WAE process.com. And when you go there, you can choose to buy just the guide if you want to do it yourself and you don't need a consult. But if you want the consultation, you may want services of some kind, and you may want a payment plan, then I recommend doing the 156, which opens all that up for you. And you're not in a hurry. We can work at your pace. We can show you how to do things wherever you may want to save money. We can help you to do that too. So it just makes 1,000% sense. Okay. And I'll throw the link up too, just so you can see how to spell it, just in case you need that again. Let me do that real quick. And let me see, where is it? It is there. So yeah, so this is waeprocess.com, waeprocess.com, if you want to do that. And then the last one that I wanted to make sure I mention one more time is, if you're starting a business, maybe you're book publishing, publishing books, becoming an author is your business. That's great. That's one of my businesses. And so I love helping people do that. If you wanted to be a coach and you wanted to do courses, or you're wanting to have a service based company and you need to build a CRM, or you need to learn how to connect with your clients and create content for social media or build a website. All of those things are under business services with this book. This book will go through how to pick a photographer. Like, it's literally that in depth, or in that specific. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see this book. So this is the book, right? Inside this book, because I didn't really open it, which you can see it big. This is inside the book. So this book is written by me. None of my books have AI, by the way. AI content, I don't use AI to write my books. I don't use AI when I ghostwrite for other people. I literally write the words and I do the interviews. So I will interview you to help you write and publish your book if that is a service level you need. So yes, I can help you write your book even if you don't want to write anything. And I can show you multiple ways we can get it done to get it in your budget and make it make sense. So even stuff like this, oh, this side, y'all. This is one of the fill in the blank pages that I do to show you how to write your mission or your vision, or to think through your service base, your services. I know a lot of times we create businesses, but we don't really know our ideal client. So when we go out there to sell our business, we're like, well, I know everybody wants it, but I don't know where to go. And that sometimes could be the reason why businesses fail. It's because they didn't do enough research in the beginning before they put all this money behind it. I am guilty of making some crazy decisions in business where I over invested in products that I didn't really have an audience to sell them to, or I wasn't doing events, or I didn't know how to do this, I didn't know how to do that, I didn't know how to connect the dots. So I just invested in these products that were great, but nobody bought them. So I end up having to eat $20,000 in, of debt, because I bought products that take, sometimes they take too long to off sale. So if you buy products and it takes you 3 and 5 years to sell them, yeah, you sold them, but they sat in your garage, they took up space. You have to pay interest if you took out a line of credit. So really, did you make any money? The short answer might be no. And so I want to show you in this book how I help people as a consultant, also how I can help you run and understand your business. So if you do have to do this yourself as an entrepreneur, or just as a consultant for other people, this could be a tool for you to give to your clients as well, to help understand your value, because sometimes people don't understand what they are paying for, and I'm big on understanding what you're paying for and what you're getting, so you can hold even the companies accountable. So if that's something that can help you, check out this book, check out this series. I'm gonna throw up the link so that you can also see that as well. And then after that, I'm gonna let you guys go. I know it's getting late in the evening. So I thank y'all for taking the time to be with me. Again, it's KLEturnkey.com. If you want to get access to this book, the book alone is $75. And then if you want to get that consultation to get you a roadmap to understand how to use this book and how to do stuff yourself, or get access to services and make it make sense, I encourage you to do the 156. Both of them are explained on the site though. So choose whichever way is best for you. Or you can also go to Crystal Lee Enterprises, where we essentially would do a consultation and take care of everything. And you don't have to, figure anything out. They still come with the books, for us, because we want our clients to be knowledgeable clients. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for tonight. I know I talked about quite a few books, and some of them are brand new books. So I don't even have the physical books here to show you them, but the ones that I do, I can show them to you. So this is Ugly Swan. This was one of the books that I talked about tonight. So if you like this book, I encourage you to grab it. Again, these books are in full color. They do print from end to end. They do have a good quality. These pages are sturdy. I know sometimes we buy these kind of cheap books and they're so thin that they tear way too easy. These are thicker sheets of paper, so they are good for children to hold them. I know even with my children, they are like sometimes disastrous with books. But as you can see, this page, or this page right here, is got quite a few words in it. So that's why it's a level 2 reading book and up to a level 3. So this book is meant to grow with your children. So definitely a level 2 or a 3 book. That's this one. Another book that I talk about today is Dancing Moon, and I know, yep, I was say I know I have that one, which is this book. This is one of my favorite books. I love all my books, but this one has a part of my heart because of the poetry in it. I love poetry, so this allows me to have my poetry hand in it. So if you like poetry and you like books with science, or your son or your daughter does, great book. Couldn't recommend this one more. Yeah, good book. And let's see, what other book did I mention today? I just want to make sure I'm showing them to you before I let you go. Yeah, so those are the ones that I've mentioned. One book that I do have to say, and I know this book has nothing to do with children, so forgive me for even sharing it. But if you like novels, I have to let you know about this book here. This is Gray Space. Gray Space has been selling off the shelves. If you like novels and you're thinking about writing a novel or a book about a character that you need to develop, and you're like, okay, I need some inspiration on how to make this thing happen, this book right here, it does have a little bit of language in it. I'm not gonna lie, but it is because the character is developing. So as we're developing, we're not always our best self. So that's the explanation for that. But ultimately, the yeah, but ultimately, this book is about a young lady named Rain and how she kind of left one business and ended up landing in another chaotic place that ultimately has changed her life. So this book here is a black and white book, nothing too crazy, but the content in it is phenomenal. So if you're looking for that novel, that was one of my top sellers, especially over this past week. It almost sold out. I think I only have 4 in stock. So if you do want to get that book, I just wanted to make a quick reminder. Go ahead and order it because I'm about to reorder probably in another. I need to probably reorder today. So I'll have some more in about a week. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so very much for being with me today. If I can help you in any kind of way, feel free to DM me, put it in the comments. Thank you for sharing, my lives and my content. I do appreciate you and for staying on with me and being with me on today, this evening. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a blessed evening until my next live or my next post. Have a wonderful day, a blessed one. And if I can be of help to you in the future, please feel free to reach out. I'm going to share my phone number just in case. I know nowadays everyone is, we do different things, but just in case you're old school like me and you still like phone numbers. Wait, let me make sure I give you the right one. 317-610. Lord, I know I'm getting tired because I'm forgetting my own. Oh, here you go. I'm forgetting my own phone number. Lord help all of us. So I have 2. Yes, it is 4932. That's why I was like, that number don't look right. So if you are in the Indianapolis area, you can use either one of these numbers, by the way. I have 2 headquarters, one in Indianapolis and then one in Georgia. So feel free to use either one. Both those numbers work for me, so I put those in the comments. I'll also share it here. So if you want to call me and let me know about what you're going through, I wanted to park those numbers up there so you do have it. You can reach me at 317-699-4932. Or you can also reach me at 770-240-0089, which is my ATL number. Either one comes to the service department. If you have questions about books, orders, services, I definitely encourage you to check out both of those websites. And you can reach Crystal Lee Enterprises essentially on those, and they'll be able to help you with your business or your book. All right, y'all. Well, y'all have a blessed evening. And again, thank you so very much. And I'll be in touch with you if you're in touch with me. I do support those that are doing stuff, that's good for the community, good for life. So let me know about what you're doing and what you have going on because I would love to learn more. All right, till my next live, y'all. I gotta go. I know you do too. Good night. May you be blessed. But I'm gonna say a quick prayer because I don't know how to end without doing that. So, Father, we just thank you so much. We thank you for your time. We thank you for being with us. You say, wherever two or more are gathered, you are in the midst. So, I just thank you for being with us today, allowing people to be able to hear some of the great things that you're doing through Crystalline Enterprises, through the books that I've authored. I pray, Father, that they touch families, that they touch nations and communities and people, and encouraging them to uplift them and to motivate them to see the goodness of you and their own power and purpose. May you continue to develop them and show them your way and how good and wonderful you are. May those who may be hurting today be re encouraged to know that you see them, that you're mindful of them, that even in this live, that you will stop everything people are doing to say that you love them, that you care about them, that you're mindful of them, their situation, their children, and their grandchildren, and that, Father, there is nothing under the sun that you don't see and you don't know. You're all powerful. You say, is there anything too hard for you? And the word tells us, no, it's not. So, Father, I thank you that you're bigger than our problems, you're bigger than our fear, you're bigger than our circumstances. Father, you are able to rekindle our passion, you're able to redeem our time. And I just pray, Father, that on today, you do that for everybody under the sound of my voice on this live and those that will entertain watching the replay. May this continue to do what you set it out to do, not just for right now, but for as long as it is. You say that your word will accomplish what you sent it out to do. So may the books that, all the people on the live that may write or may do, may it touch those that you intended to. For those who have services, may they do what you sent them out to do. May they continue to be productive and profitable in all of their ways. I pray a blessing over their lives and over their family. It's in the mighty name of Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, that we say hallelujah, and so be it. May you all have a wonderfully blessed evening, and let me know if I can help you in any other way. Until next time, bye bye.